and you're just on a frozen rope going to the finish line, and you shoot through the finish line and you break out, and the other guy doesn't even show up and you lose the race. So I didn't want to do that, but I really should have just gone straight to the finish line, because as soon as I get out there, like right at the finish line, he comes shooting by me at 150 miles an hour and wins the race. So second time in the same event, I was out the first round. What could I have done? Well, I could have gone all the way to the finish line, and it would have been a closer race. He's like a young gun at the end of a long season, and he cut a way better light than I did. I think I had like a 50 or 60 light, and he had like a 15 light. So he had me beat pretty good at the starting line. But I should have asked Stevie what he. Well, actually, I think I did ask him, but he's a good guy. He's not going to tell you how to run your race. But if I would have based my math on the 1092 that I'd run the day before instead of the 1086, because the 86 I had a tailwind, and that's why I had extra mile per hour and all that stuff, and there was no tailwind, and the air was shitty, and everybody was running 400 slower than they should have been. So if I would have gone and dialed a 1096 and run all the way to the finish line, I think I would have won that race. But you live and learn. Part of drag racing is it keeps you humble, and another thing is, when you're drag racing, you have to make decisions in a second or less, or just like that. You have almost no time to make decisions, and that is really where the stars shine. Is what to do in 1 second or 2 seconds, and I'm just a little rusty, but that's drag racing. Nothing else to say about that. My takeaways from the weekend. It was great. I really had a good time. I'm always game for a road trip with Mike Breno, my partner, Dr. Big Blog, my crew chief. We've driven across the country many times. And that's the real test of a friendship is if you can handle sitting in the cab of a car or truck for 12 or 15 or 16 hours. So that was good, and we both had a great time meeting up with our old friends, drag racing friends who we haven't seen in a while, because we've been really fighting this, and really stoked to have that engine like it is. Oh my gosh, it's just fantastic. It just fires right up, and it's like an explosion. It just makes people jump, and it just sounds like a big angry cat purring when you're driving around or dragging a yardstick across a picket fence or whatever you want to call it. It's just a gnarly sound, and then it just pulls so hard all the way through the finish line. I've never had an engine that pulled like that. Like, I don't even know when it stops. I mean, it goes like 7,200 RPM. It's still pulling. It's we still got a lot left. I mean, if you take away 3 to 6 tenths for the really crappy air, that puts us deep into the tens, which is where we want to be. And another thing is, it's a heavy car because of the class and the weight. It has to weigh almost 2 tons, which is heavy. And so we need to get it out of the hole faster. There's a couple of ways to do that. One is we have a 4-5-6 gear ratio in the rear end. We need to go back to our 488s. And the other is we need to take our transmission back out and put a low first gear set in. So both those things will get it out of the hole faster. And the faster your 60-foot time is, that just goes all the way through the whole run. And so theoretically we could be in the low 10s at some point. I mean, the index is 1040 or 1140, and you don't want to run underneath more than a second under the index. Because they'll throw horsepower on your combination and make your car even heavier. I don't know how my car could be heavier. In fact, Stevie was saying one thing that we need to do is put the fat studs in the back in the rear gear, because he's worried we're going to twist the studs off,